Hey folks, Engineer 775 here, wanting to bring you another product review. This time I recently purchased a Harvest Right freeze dryer and I'm just setting things up right now. So I'm just going basically through the unboxing phase. So just got this sent to me. It was on a pallet and pretty heavy, pretty substantial unit. This is the medium size freeze dryer from Harvest Right, and I'll show you all the components here shortly. Why a freeze dryer? Well, we've been using freeze-dried products for several years, and I have many really good customers that have bought a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and I've been fortunate enough to sometimes be working on a project at their place, and they'll bring out cherry tomatoes in January for the salad that we're going to eat with dinner, and I'm like, where did these come from? And they were preserved using the Harvest Right freeze dryer. So just amazing products out of this machine, and so I'm pretty excited. It's springtime here in the South. Just rototilled my garden today. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I need to wait a week or so. Soil temperature's still cold, but I'm looking forward to harvesting those first zucchinis and tomatoes and freeze drying them in here. Our blueberries are going crazy. The bees are out pollinating right now. So I'm looking forward to doing several batches. I got some extra trays, which I'll show you. So a lot of times when things come in an abundance, it's like, oh no, what are we gonna do with it? So we do can, but we also looking forward to freeze drying. So if you have a lot of fruit coming in, peaches, apples, the blueberries, I'm really excited to try those. We usually get about 3-4 gallons that we pick off of our 5 plants. And I'm looking out forward to freeze drying those. So we've been using freeze dry products. You're all familiar, like Mountain House. Whether you're a camper or a prepper, these things are great products, freeze dried. We have been using Thrive as a product for many years, and especially for long-term food storage, being able to store meat, hamburger, sausage, pork, chicken, and this is some barbecue in the Thrive. 25 years. We've tasted and tested all the freeze-dried products that we could get our hands on, and they're very, very good. So another thing I'm probably going to do, the first thing I've been real excited about, is doing eggs. I'm going to be doing raw eggs. I think I can do 6 to 8 dozen, probably 6 dozen. I think the 4 trays will hold 6 dozen eggs. And so if you've raised chickens, like I've raised chickens my whole life, and having that abundance when the eggs come in, but then when the light goes down and towards Christmas time, end of after Thanksgiving, and the chickens aren't laying as well, it's nice. Wouldn't it be nice to have about 20 dozen eggs put away? So I'm looking forward to freeze drying a lot of eggs and using this machine to do it. We're gonna do some other fun projects. I got a buddy that has a tea plantation. We're gonna freeze dry some tea as a test, and so that's and whatever else. And in the comments, I'd appreciate some really interesting products that you might have freeze dried or that you'd like to see tried to be freeze dried. We're going to be analyzing this thing from power consumption. Can I run it off grid? But it's really not a machine that you'd want to run in a grid down situation, because it does use quite a bit of power, which I'll be monitoring with a kilowatt meter and seeing, doing a little cost analysis to see, is it really cost effective to do this? And most of the studies show that it is. I'll be doing my own, and just analyzing everything on it, measuring the vacuum. You'll hear me talk about millitors, and it's the measurement of vacuum, and we won't have to geek out too much on that, but we won't be talking PSI or pascals. We'll be talking millitors, and when those values are out of range, it's time to change things like your oil and your vacuum pump. We'll be talking about maintenance. So look forward to, hopefully I'm going to have 4 or 5 videos, and basically I'll have a spring harvest and a summer harvest. I'll get in my fall crops, and then other things that come in like eggs or just fun things that we want to try, like the tea. And but I'm really excited because we raise our own cows. We have chickens and large gardens, so I'm looking forward to processing some beef. And we've done the dehydrator, we've made a lot of jerky, but being able to freeze dry it, I think, is going to offer another awesome way to do this. And I'm also looking forward to ice cream. Freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. I heard that's an easy one to do. So, all right. So, yeah, and we've kind of gone with so once you freeze-dried, we're going to be storing our stuff in number 10 cans. I have a lot of number 10 cans, and I have a can sealer. So I'm going to be, whatever product we have, I'm going to stick with the number 10 cans because I like the way they stack and the way we can store food that way. So I'll be putting my food in number 10 cans, oxygen absorber for most of the products, and then sealing it up. We have the All-American automatic, not the automatic, but the manual can sealer that's worked really well for us. So I've got a couple hundred of these cans. We're going to fill them up with products that are made in the Harvest Right freeze dryer. Again, this is a medium size one, so let me just kind of give you a brief overview, show you some of the components, and get it ready for our first batch. It's pretty good size, so I'm not going to put it in my kitchen. I'm going to put it down in my food storage room when we're actually processing food. And the processing times can be 24 to 48 hours depending on the product that you're trying to freeze dry. So I'm going to be learning a lot and hopefully sharing a lot of what I learn on how this thing works and what to do, what not to do. And if you're interested in a unit, they've always been fascinating to me, and I'm glad I was able to finally get one. And I have like I said, a bunch of customers that have them. They've caused me to covet a little bit, so I went and bought one. And I've been looking forward to doing this. And the folks at Harvest Right have been great to work with so far. So we'll see. I think the first generation, they were kind of hesitated. There were some complaints about the vacuum pumps, which they do have a maintenance-free vacuum pump. And the one that I have requires a little bit of maintenance. Doesn't bother me. So I'll be giving some feedback on that. But other than that, the units have been very good. So if you got questions, let me know. There'll be links in the description. We'll have them on our website at practicalpreppers.com. There's a small, medium, and large size. And if you have questions about how it works, it's a add to cart item. So help yourself, and look forward to working with you on getting one. Let's make some food. Okay, I'm just going to take you through a little tour of this product. This is the medium Harvest Right freeze dryer in red. It has this little insulator that you put in. Here's the vacuum chamber, and this has a removable gasket. You can take this off and keep it clean and keep it washed. You know, the key to this is making sure that you're pulling a good vacuum. So when this seal is clean and it mates up against this clean plexiglass Lexan front door with a nice locking mechanism on it, you get a good seal. And you can start, I don't know if you can see it on video, but you can see where it's evenly kind of compressed all the way around. So you get a good seal there. So that's easy to clean. This is easy to clean. And then you have these stainless steel trays that fit in here, nicely labeled Harvest Right. So the products will be being placed on those trays and inserted in here. And that's pretty simple. It's just a vacuum chamber. Also on the front you have, which I don't have it turned on yet, will be the LED display, and it's basically a one button push to start, continue, and it'll tell you to walk you through some steps like close off the drain. There's a drain. Again, you're taking moisture out. The moisture has to go somewhere, so you'll be draining the moisture out. You can see there's I don't know who makes the compressor. I'll have to investigate the compressor here. I'll take this side panel off and check that out too. But it's got a little compressor in there that's doing its job and compressing the refrigerant to make that vacuum chamber ice cold, down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's the vacuum pump. Pretty standard vacuum pump, 7 CFM, 120 volt vacuum pump. I haven't filled it with oil, but I will. It's got a little sight window like they all do. I need to get the oil filled up. It came with the oil. And they also, Harvest Right makes a maintenance kit in order to save some money and be conscientious about the use of the oil. They just make this little filtering kit. So once you've done a batch in your freeze dryer, you can actually drain the oil out into this and let it filter down through, and then pour the oil back in the pump. And that way the oil will last a lot longer, and so will your pump. Vacuum clear vacuum hose, really nice connections on both ends, heavy duty threads. The pump actually plugs into the unit itself, and then you turn the pump on, and then once you turn your unit on, it's actually controlled, the pump is controlled by the freeze dryer itself. Okay, it comes with a cord. Plug that in there, and I got some extra trays because I know I have some products, like when my blueberries come in, I'm going to want to do that. I'm going to want to have extra trays. And got some extra oxygen absorbers too. Some people use oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags. That's fine. I'm just going with the number 10 can strategy. So that's pretty much it. I like red, so I got the red. You can get white, you can get, I think it's a light blue, and I just like the red one. But again, this is the medium size. There's small, medium, and large. So this is just basically pulling everything off of the pallet and going over everything, making sure that I have all the components that come with it, going through the instructions for the vacuum pump. They give you a guide to how to freeze dry, and then I've been going through the owner's manual. Yes, believe it or not, I just didn't turn it on. I'm actually going through the owner's manual, and I'm in the unpacking phase of the owner's manual. So I have everything, so it's time to, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it in my basement where it's cool and dry, and that's where I'm going to process all my food. I'm not going to do it in the kitchen. It's just kind of too big, and it's not loud, but it's kind of in our living space, so I'm going to put it in the basement. Nobody will hear it, but it will be making delicious food while it's in the basement. So, okay, so far, if you have any questions, let me know, but that's the gist of just unpacking this beautiful machine, a Harvest Right freeze dryer. Put the insulation pad back in there. I really like the locking mechanism there. And then, so next time, we'll fire it up. Okay, this is Engineer 775 signing out.